Howdy. Nothing really to show. Just want to talk a little bit about the Sci-Fi Channel and their original movies. You know, you all know uh, the movies that have the terrible acting and the even worse CGI. Uh, this one came on a couple months ago, but they just replayed it last night, and it's Bigfoot with Danny Bonaducci and Barry Williams. You know, Danny Partridge and Greg Brady. Um, I must say that that's one of my can you have a favorite Sci-Fi Channel movie? Might be one of my favorites besides SS Doom Trooper. But it's so bad. You know, they're so bad, but they're so fun to watch. You know, Bigfoot jumps out of the woods and he's like some 30-foot tall King Kong looking thing. He's screaming and spitting fangs and everything else. And Danny Bonaducci basically wants to kill him and mount him. And Barry Williams' character is like a tree-hugging hippie, as Danny Bonaducci calls him, and he wants to save him and put him in a preserve. Yeah, seems like a nice thing to do, except that Bigfoot is running around basically being an asshole to everybody. Oh yeah, and he continuously runs. Bigfoot doesn't walk. I mean, everywhere he goes, he runs. So if this monster isn't doing marathons, he's missing out. Everywhere he goes, I don't know, he's running. But yeah, so it would be a nice thing to do to animal to put him in a preserve and whatnot so he could roam free if Bigfoot wasn't such a jerk. He's picking up bulldozers and throwing them and blowing stuff up. He's kicking cars into people's chests and pinning them against trees. He's taking women and flinging them across the woods and snapping their spines on tree trunks. He's picking up random people and biting their heads off. And of course, being good old Sci-Fi Channel with their CGI, he bites the heads off and there's no blood or nothing. He pop, pop, grab, grab, bite head, fling, fling. And then the end, towards the end of the movie, don't worry. I don't think if I spoil the ending of this movie, it's going to ruin it for you. But anyway, spoiler alert, they end up at Mount Rushmore. And Bigfoot is like scaling one of the president's heads. He's like bouncing around like some video game thing. And they show him multiple times, like starting at the bottom and going to the top. Then they pan away, do something else, and he's back at the bottom. So I don't know if he slides down in between scenes or not, but so they end up there, and Danny Bonaducci and Barry Williams are punching it out, and Danny Bonaducci falls off the edge, and Barry Williams reaches down and grabs him. Oh, like brothers of the 70s. And they're like making eye contact, like, oh, you gonna save me, Barry Williams? I've been such a jerk this whole movie. Barry Williams is like, yeah, Danny Bonaducci, I'm gonna save you. And then Bigfoot jumps on. He's like, and Barry Williams looks up at him, makes googly eyes, and Bigfoot looks at Barry Williams with like googly eyes too. And Barry Williams reaches up his hand towards Bigfoot, and Bigfoot like starts to reach one of his clawy looking fingers down to Barry Williams. You expect me to believe that after all the head popping and vehicle throwing and spine snapping that Bigfoot's all of a sudden going to be like, oh, I have a heart. I'm going to help you, Barry Williams and Danny Bonaducci, and lift you guys off of Mount Rushmore. Yeah, he's probably going to do that. But then the jet fighters come in and they basically blow up one of the heads of Mount Rushmore and everybody falls to their death. Well, that's a good ending. And then Howard Hessman, you know, from Head of the Class and Johnny Fever from WKRP in Cincinnati, comes wheeling out from behind a podium in his wheelchair holding the microphone. And he's like speaking to the townspeople, and they show the townspeople, and they're all like 10 years old. And he's like, oh, dedicate this to the two guys that saved everything. And they show a statue of like Barry Williams and Danny Bonaducci, like with their arms over each other's shoulders. I guess it's supposed to be a bronze statue, but It looks like tinfoil with like flashlight shining on it, and that's pretty much how it ends. But yeah, I gotta say it was one of my more favorite Sci-Fi Channel movies. Man, after that went off, they had Axe Hunter on, about kids at a camp with a gigantic Paul Bunyan chopping him down with an axe. Maybe he lost Babe the Blue Ox or something. But it was kind of cool though, because the Paul Bunyan was not CGI. He was like old-fashioned suit, which was kind of cool. And he was being played by Dan Haggerty of Grizzly Adams fame, and he was on an episode of the History Channel show American Pickers a few weeks ago, selling them motorcycles or something. But yeah, so it was Dan Haggerty as Paul Bunyan. But yeah, that's Sci-Fi films. They're on almost every Saturday, except these were on yesterday, which would have been Thursday. No. But I hate them, but I like them. You know, they're so cheesy, but they're so fun to watch because you never know, you know. You always have giant monsters stomping across the ground and they never cast shadows. You always have guns shooting, but you never have any muzzle fire. They love doing fake helicopters and fake fire. Man, they love that stuff. So, yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that I watched that, and that's a hoot. So if you ever see Bigfoot with Danny Partridge and Greg Brady, then turn it on. Especially like the last 10-15 minutes where they're on Mount Rushmore. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Thanks for watching. Adios, muchachos.